do know about investing.
Mess with the fire, now it's closing in.
Nothing to bear and nothing to win. Nothing to win. Could you believe? Could you believe? Could you believe? Could you believe? Fire, take my hand, I'll take you higher than you've ever been, than you've ever been.
Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So, unchanged and unfazed from the last 3 days of holding this 382 pitch fan level, which also happens to be the 200 weighted moving average on the weekly time frame, which we'll get into in a minute, or actually daily 3-day. We'll get into that in a bit, but it looks like we're seeing a little bit of bounce as we predicted yesterday. We'll get into my unchanged prediction and see how that played out after we go into the high block capital heat map. What is the heat map? Well, it's when people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp for not using a stop loss, and we get to see where those crispy characters lie. So let's go see where they lie, shall we? Ooh, pardon me, just 1 second. Let me do this really quick. Sorry about that. All right, so here we go. Okay, so this is the 1 minute time frame. It looks like, let me see this. So it looks like we started to come up to the pool up the 26173 region, and we gathered all of these short liquidity guys, particularly the 100x pool that is here. Let's see that character, this guy, 26173, $138 million in 100x liquidity. As I said, they come back without a hesitation for these guys.
Fatality.
And yeah, they don't feel sorry for taking them out either, and neither do I. So are they coming to these guys now that you have $131 million opening up into this resistance long, $131 million at 26.55? We came back and didn't wick them out, but possibly scared out some of the pool here, but we didn't take them out completely. Interesting to note, we are at a imbalance of 225 million only. The CPI data is being released in the next 4 minutes, and we'll see how that gets absorbed or not. It looks like the predictions for that are at, I don't even know what it means, but 5% for all the energy cost increase and everything, and so we'll see if the forecast is met or not. And 4 minutes, it should absorb in the charts either way. We'll see what happens in that time, whether it's bullish or bearish for Bitcoin. So let's go into that. We still have the pools above that we talked about at the 443 region. Could come back to these guys. It is quite thick up into the region of the 26775, and we did have previously guys up here that are lost to father time. So since they're lost to father time, we need to expand our vision to the higher time frame pools and see where that external liquidity lies. Shout out to everyone here. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. So it looks like we have the 26.9 region. These guys that got lost to father time do still reside up here in the 7-day chart. So we do have that 27K percolation of 7 billion up there in that region on the 7-day time frame. Although those billions are lackluster as you start to expand to the higher time frame of the 1 month, and you start to see these double digits of billions down below at 24.7 and below, and start to think, are they going to come stab down to here after they clear their fill of the shorts? Where does their fill get met? Do they come up to the 28K region and start to take out this region and above? Are we starting to see a narrative shift? What is going to happen with Gary Gensler? I was reading something about how some emails, Ripple CEO celebrates transparency victory as Hyman emails to be unsealed, something to do with the classification on XRP, and maybe Gary Gensler getting some scrutiny. We'll see what that means in terms of the charts. Are we going to see a surge up into the liquidity pools above? We've already laid out for you where the larger time frames exist, but where did they get their fill off the divergence here? They did take out $150 billion here in this 25.2 region. Are they interested in coming lower and grabbing these pools beneath 25K? That is the real question here. Or are they starting to make their fill and start to come up to these double-digit pools on the 33 and above region? As we start to go to the 6-month time frame, you see this thick band of 100 billion down at 24.3. Unless these are market maker positions, they would be areas of interest. Same here with the 22.5 region. Unless they're privy to some information we are not as to why they would be unscathed, it would make sense for them to come down to that 24.3 in a capitulation wick of some kind, which would also coincide with their fibs, which we'll get into in a moment. As you start to expand to the 2-year, you'll start to see how the pools start to evaporate into a glaze over look, and you see the higher time frame of the 32.4 region is the hottest pool we have thus far, and you have 150 billion up there chilling in wait. Can't nix that. You do have that 207 billion down at 15.2 that looks to have been some sort of position of the market maker because they left 100 billion unscathed as they made their ascent. I'm still new to the idea of what pools they leave unscathed or not, and why. I'm open to speculation as to why they would leave 300 billion here unscathed before they go. If they tend to go higher, it would make sense that they come down to grab it. But we have seen in the past that they left 155 billion up here and they came down and retraced and only came back to grab it a month later. So who knows what the plan is. Only those with the liquidity providers know. So you have to operate from the sense of, if you were the liquidity provider, where would you go? So if we look at this immediate point in the charts where we are at, you do see more existent above, all the way up to the 26.9 region, which we did ascertain on the 7-day time frame as well. So if we come up to here, do we do that in order to justify coming back down? I don't know. The CPI data should have been released now. Let's see what it said. Does it release somewhere? Doesn't have a thing, but we should see it. Ooh, looks like we're getting that surge up now. As we go into the Binance chart and the prediction that we left untouched from yesterday, let's go see what we had in the chart. So we said we'd be coming up to these pools up here, and it looks like we are hitting them as we speak. Prediction complete. 618 bounce. Gave you 2 chances to get in at the golden pocket. Did you take it? Hopefully you did. And that is prediction complete. Boom. And let's go see this fatality en route at the 26.4 region. Ooh, and you're seeing liquidity pinged in as we see it get taken out. And these characters get knocked off the table.
Fatality.
Yes, and they didn't hesitate to grab these guys. As we predicted, the other pools could be coming in. You're getting larger longs entering here with the $232 million entering here, and their partners in crime not too different in shorts to offset that, but the imbalance is to the downside here. If they come retrace to grab the 100x before moving further, that would mean they need to come to a zone here. Let's go see where we're going. 26,272. We did wick up into that region and spike off of it. So let's turn on our oscillators and build the narrative for what we would want to see if it was a genuine move to the upside or not. Oscillators on. Heads up display on. Oh, also consider subscribing, hit the like button if you have not yet done so. Link also in description for the oscillators, momentummaster.info. Scroll down to the features category, see what it toggle switches, what it looks like in its full capacity, and also each component as we go over it. Okay, so oops, moving that support line, not a good idea. So the daily time frame, we're seeing this potential narrative shift potential of the cloud, which gives us a preemptive idea before the move is inbound. This is what momentum trading is about, giving a leading indication before the move is in. We're also seeing this daily support potential of the weighted moving average here. If we see bounce, daily candles closing on the 200 here. Why do I use weighted over simple? Well, you can Google that yourself. What's the difference between weighted moving averages and simple moving averages? And you'll see why we have it in this suite. They are generally more accurate and sensitive and sticky to price. So this is why we're seeing this hold here on the daily time frame. Also, the daily cross negating this previous drop down could be inbound if we close the daily candle above this level and bring this baseline to bear. If we go to the 3-day, I think the 5-day is in a day and 12 hours, so not just yet after that would be midweek reversal. So if we go to the 3-day time frame here and throw on our oscillators here, we are seeing this interesting bounce off of the cloud here. One thing that I was talking to a fellow Momentum Master member about was this Binance chart has a huge influx of volume on the BTC USDT chart on the 3-day. However, if you go to, let's say, what is this KuCoin chart, the cloud is less thick, right? And it's above the price. So you're seeing a different idea of the volume. So that means that KuCoin is not buying as much, the exchange itself on KuCoin is not buying as much Bitcoin as the Binance chart. So the Binance exchange is actually transferring wealth into Bitcoin more than the other exchanges. And you can compare this on Momentum Master to the other assets. This is Bybit, and you're also seeing that thin cloud above the price. And here, even on the Coinbase chart of the one that we have, this is not as thick. So it's kind of interesting to note that the Binance chart is getting this surge in the cloud on the 3-day for Bitcoin, implying that they are buying Bitcoin on the DL to possibly offset their books that are trying to be reclaimed by the US government. Interesting to note. And if we go to the daily time frame, we are seeing this possible shift of the cloud. It did come slightly lower, so we can adjust that accordingly. They could come to bear, and we were talking about this. If this were genuine and we somehow managed to come up to this region and hold daily candles above this range and then retrace into this cloud, that could be a potential continuation idea if you're still in this at that time. Still have to negate this cross down event before I'm buying it, and you're at an ambiguous point on the daily. No indication of bullish nature other than holding this weighted moving average and that potential shift of the cloud here on this on our oscillators. The 3-day though is what we were looking at for the last few days here, maybe even a week. How the money flow is flowing beneath the RSI and starting to curve up here. Are you starting to see this subtle 3-day interest on the 3-day chart to also getting a nice double bottom on the Williams oversold here? So the 3-day chart looking quite nice for Bitcoin here and holding the weighted moving average and the cloud here. So that is kind of interesting to note. If we go to the 22-hour time frame, you're seeing this bullish divergence here on the money flow and the RSI, which is starting to play out here. We're getting a cross-up event on the 22. Is this going to lock in and stay and remain? If it does, we could come up during the FOMC tomorrow. FOMC should bring some interesting juice to the table. Let's see. I'm guessing the CPI data was bullish for Bitcoin, which means it wasn't as bad as expected. Or maybe the inflation was worse and that's what causes people to go back into Bitcoin. So I don't think this was the cloud on here. This was on the 12 hour. So let's go to the 12-hour cloud and see what we see on that. Is it still curving in a manner here? It started to come down here. So this is not what we like to see for that. So this is showing that there is some sort of volume exiting as people get into this. People are offsetting their positions. There is some selling into these green candles. If we look at the volume here, there is nothing impressive about the volume just yet on the 12-hour time frame under the PVSRA strategy. And you are getting a cross up event negating this previous cross down back here. And these cross down and cross up events sometimes do give you duds, but for the most part when they cross up, it gives you a good 12-hour candle or two in that direction. So if we're going to see this continue, that would be nice to see on the 12-hour time frame, as we are seeing that cross up event potential with the bullish divergence also on the RSI here on the regular bullish divergence on the 12-hour time frame. And let's go into the 6-hour. Also seeing money flow divergence on the 6-hour time frame. Money flow divergence here. See, higher low, lower low, money flow divergence, 6 hour time frame. So that's, we are getting overbought on the stochastic RSI, although that doesn't mean much when your RSI and money flow are down in this level, and the Williams could potentially shift you, although it is something to take note of. As we approach the cloud on the 6 hour time frame, are we going to pierce above and start to consolidate for some move? You have 5 hours for this candle to close. Once again, the London handoff shake is going to be in about an hour's time, so look for that type of play and more volatility to enter at that time. The 4 hour time frame had this cloud come down. This, surprisingly, interestingly enough, as we're rising, the cloud is dropping. That's kind of an interesting thing to see. Normally you see this hold and we come up to it, or it comes down in an angle like this and we come up to it. Rarely do I see this come down like this as we go up. So that's suggesting what exactly? There's like positions leaving as we start to go into that absorbing the sell side liquidity with the buy side liquidity of the shorts. Interesting. So we're getting a large rejection wick here on the hourly time frame. We got 18 minutes for this candle to close. It looks like they're probably coming back into some of these longs that open up the $232 million here. At least the 100x will get eliminated for sure. Seeing some more pinged longs and shorts enter, bubbles within bubbles. It's quite interesting. Let's see what they're coming back for. It looks like they're coming back for you, my friend, at 26,184. Greedy little buggers. There they go.
Fatality.
That's right. Don't do 100x into green candles, my friend. No way. And they came back without hesitation. And yeah. So when they eliminate those guys, do they come back, kiss this cloud, and continue? You have the hourly time frame still meandering up. Money flow beneath the RSI, considering we can keep going. Let's look at the 15. You're starting to see this volume enter here, getting some vector candles, and stopping vector candle, turning red based off of the selling into this resistance point. So are we going to hold this cloud and continue, or are we going to break down through and take out some more? Let's see what's going on. You do have a 50x character down here at 25,906. Not that far away. They could come down to him as well. They took out the partner in crime already. Once they get those guys, these guys are still open and likely not paying themselves, so they could come back once they grab what they came for on whatever pool. There's another interesting character lying in wait down here at 25,709. Do they come down into this, do a stop hunt before going out some more? Looks like they could. It is volatile as all get out right now. Hopefully someone out there is taking advantage. Very reminiscent of NASDAQ, actually. Speaking of which, in 15 minutes I will bid you adieu to make my prep for that. If you are in the Momentum Master Discord, please hop into the live analysis. We can go over some stuff together. Any questions you might have about that. Let's see. So we're getting rejected. Let's go to our fibs real quick and see where we're getting some rejection. We're getting some rejection off the 706 level of the bearish trend based fib level of this small impulse retrace idea that we've had out since Wednesday. So are we heading, oh, this is Wednesday, June 7th. So are we seeing this idea of this rejection of the 706 and coming back down into the 1 and 1382 regions? We would have to make it above this for this bearish fib level to be negated. The 236 had you at hello off the 7 time frames, and the super trend holding here on the bearish fib level. And are we going to reclaim this zone? I think this guy has yet to be fully grabbed. Let's see what we had our level at, 443. I don't think we hit the 443 exactly, so we could keep going here. The hourly cloud does suggest you could see it go higher. You're getting some ambiguousness within the 15 minute of the cross down, cross up, cross down, cross up. If you hold the super trend and hold the cloud, you know where it's going. It continues on the trend that it was heading, which is to the upside. It's kind of interesting that the angle of the thing we had seems to be the angle that it's holding. It was unadjusted since 24 hours ago. Just kind of see price action enough. It just does what you somehow subconsciously intuit sometimes. So weird. Let's see how the chat is doing. Oh, thank you, Tracy. 4.1 actual, 4.0. Okay, and US core CPI 5.2 actual, 5.3. So it's slightly higher on that, and the year year of something yield forecast, the yield, yeah, is actually less. Okay, so there's less yield, and then there's more of that. Interesting. Cool, thanks for sharing. So I don't know what that actually means. I wish I could say I did, but I don't. Yeah, so if we look at the 15-minute time frame here, I only know how to read the charts. I'm sorry. I don't know the news stuff. I'm not cultured enough, I guess. So if we go to the 15-minute here, we're going to see how this closes the hour, and then we will bid you adieu. How about that? We'll give you the full hourly close and see how that plays out here. So it looks like we're holding here. There's definitely no entries at this point. The entry we had was from yesterday off the golden pocket region, and they gave you 2 opportunities to take it. Whether you wanted it or not was the question. So yeah, that's kind of cool. So are we going to continue higher on this? We do have the cross up. The baselines are holding in a manner, but if the price starts to close candles beneath the baselines, you know what happens with that. We've seen it before, and we will see it again. That type of deal right there. So cross up leads to the upside, cross down leads to the downside. Down, up. It's what it does. So you tried to see what the hourly is doing. You got the money flow beneath the so that's why the cloud on the 4 hour, there's a lot of money leaving. So you're getting a lot of the money flow leaving out here while the RSI is going up. So you could see this money flow come back in. Surprisingly, the leading MACD has crossed over its average, and it's still potentially holding here. The Williams is getting overbought on the hourly time frame. Let's look at the 4 hour. 4 hours completely overbought on the stochastic. Williams still could come up to you. The angle in which these are apart implies that it could still keep going in a similar manner here, although this didn't really go up higher from that point. But it could be something like this too. You know, the angle in which these are separated implies that it could continue on the Williams, suppressing the 4 hour here in this manner. So we could be seeing something similar to this if we hold the cloud, and then we start to get this double, triple chop scenario of the 4 hour. I believe in this time as well, you also had the 6 and these other time frames also overbought. Let's just go and juxtapose that idea. Yeah, you had the 6 hour also overbought in a similar fashion with the cross up. And I believe you also had the 12 hour starting to get overbought with the Williams possibly coming. And the cloud was above it. So you had that 12 hour potential suppression here. Let's see how the 12 hour juxtaposes with where we're at right now, you do have that same position in time where it's at the 50 level, and the 12-hour subtle support could occur to pin that 4 and 6 hour to the upside here with that bullish divergence and the potential rising sun event on the 12-hour time frame with the double bottom here. Looking interesting. This rising sun only appears at key levels that are back tested by yours truly to get that, with the special hole smoothing and a bunch of other secret sauce to why it's at that level for that rising sun to appear. So when the rising sun appears, it could bask you in its golden light in the peaks and valleys between these mountains of the momentum waves and shine with this golden light to take you to the upside. Is it going to do that? We don't have the river basin here of the water and the nice fertile land here of the oversold double bottom here. We don't have that. It's more like a rough valley with rocks and a quarry or something, but it still has the rising sun nonetheless. Interesting analogy, right? You'll never see it the same probably. This is like mountain ranges to me with some water flowing down, and it's the rising sun, and you got some clouds up above, and you got the peaks and Everest, and you got to watch out because climbing down the mountain. Yeah, anyway, I digress. So yeah, if you're getting that same cross-up event potential here, it is the same kind of dealio. Doesn't always have to occur the exact same way, shape, or form, but you look for that reclamation of that cloud and holding it as it did on the 4 hour before. So this holding of the 4 hour and starting to flip it in some manner. If you hold this 4 hour cloud while it resets in certain time frames, lower time frames like the hourly, $7 minutes for the candle to close. We are holding the weighted moving average here. The 200 weighted on the hourly is coming down, and we have SR flipped it, potentially speaking. Let's see if we can close out the cloud nicely. I don't have a move for you other than the move that I already put out yesterday, and see if it just holds for whatever reason to go on that path we suggested for a narrative out of here. 15-minute time frame does suggest we come down and grab those pools. We talked about here, there's more liquidity getting pinged in as we speak. We'll try to give you that last bit of essence before we bid you adieu. So they're getting more pinged in, bubbles within bubbles. I'd be surprised if they don't come get this guy at 25,906, to be honest with you, but could be wrong. There's more short interest coming in here than long interest. If it offsets this guy's amount, they'll just come up and grab these guys first. Okay. Well, ladies and germs, I will see if we can get some nice hourly close sauce out of this. My eyes are dry as heck. Let's see what you guys have to say. In real life, prices of the groceries here in Fairleigh have not gone down. Sure haven't. Bread is woofy. Exactly. I don't believe in that. Yeah, the power bills here in Japan are double what they were last summer. So we are seeing a double the cost in power and more. I went to Costco the other day in my area in Japan, and it was like, wait, isn't Costco supposed to be cheap? And it didn't feel cheap at all. So let me just double check what this cloud was. I think it was the daily cloud. Yeah. So I was talking about what you'd need to see for this to be a genuine move to the upside, all right? So if this was a genuine move to the upside, you'd have to see some sort of daily candle close up above here, above this cloud, and then you come back and you retest the cloud as it starts to thin. So the cloud is giving us this angle of thinning here and holding in a certain manner here. If it starts to make this angle of curvature as we come up here, this is something that could preempt a potential move. Whoa! In a similar fashion as to, say, kind of here, where you get this like thinning of the cloud before you surge up. All right, so just like this was starting to curve in this manner before we came down, if you see the curvature in the opposite case, if we're going to go up on the daily time frame. Oh, it looks like they grabbed that guy. Did they? I just saw a huge wick come down. Here they go. They're coming for that. Where's that guy? Did they get him? Let's see. Hold up. Oh, they got him. They got him. He's gone. His line is cut over here.
Fatality.
I mean, what did you expect if you open into a green candle? Like, really? Honestly. You should be getting into a position logically with some levels of interest and stuff at the bottom. It's a bit more, heart-racking, but it's the safer play, and then you have that cushion of these guys to bounce off of. So are they bouncing off that liquidity? It also happens to coincide with that guy here at the one level of the fib. It's so interesting how the fibs also coincide with like where liquidity levels get pinged in. It's like which came first, the Fibonacci or the liquidity grab. So probably even if I did a Fibonacci on this impulse up here to here, or from here to here rather, yeah, I mean it's not exact, but coming down to kiss the cloud on the hourly, you break out of the cloud, you come back, you kiss it. It's just what it does. You break out of the cloud, you come back, you kiss it in some way, shape, or form, and if that confluence adds up to what you're looking for, you could take it for what it's worth. Although this is looking like a Darth Maul candle right now. Extremely volatile days in the making. At least it's interesting nonetheless. 2 minutes for the candle close. You got ambiguous gobbledygook on the 15. Holding the trend line as we speak though, or not the super trend. Looking at the hourly, we are getting the cross down right now if it confirms in a minute and 43. So we'll see how that occurs and then give you a heed either way or the other. So basically, if this closes in a minute 33 beneath this level and this cross down event confirms, then you can expect at least a simple retrace of some kind or further to the downside while this figures itself out. You have this as your second hit to the high. Are you going to maintain this, or is this a trap to continue higher? As they start to move out of the range, they start to give an impression to get people committed to an idea. So if they're trying to commit people to a short here and then continue higher, that's what they would do, is make a kind of fake weakness. It's happened before where they create that. Here there was actual weakness and they faded, but when it's a fake one, they do the same and then they send it up higher. So it's all about what the follow through on this is, if it has any follow through at all. So 38 seconds for this candle close. It looks like it's an indecision Darth Maul kind of spinning top, but it is giving you that cross down event. The fact that this volume of selling volume, it was also buying volume in there, but ultimately selling volume is more than the previous 10 candles combined, but it's not really gone. It didn't really break the range, suggests that there's some commitment to hold it here. 10 seconds, we'll look at the liquidity and bid you adieu. So they grabbed this 50x and 100x character. You do have these other guys up above, which caked the way up nicely to the 26792 region. I don't see why they can't just come back and grab these guys now. They're nicely stacked up to the 26749 region. Let's go get them, please. That would be lovely to continue higher and justify the move to take out at least the 100x up 177 million up at 26473. So we could come up always up to the top of this range, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. You are getting these characters. This guy's out of the game, but his partner in crime 131 down here and 232 down here. If we do come lower, there's small little pools here and there throughout to justify grabbing, but the ultimate thickness is up in this region, so I still think we could continue higher. We held the weighted moving average here. That could be an SR flip potential. Despite it being an indecision doji, it could not break that level. You did get the cross down event, but if it is going to negate itself in this next hour, this could disappear. If it continues higher, it will open up that baseline level, and we will continue on the path projected yesterday. All right, ladies and germs, I will catch you on the flip side. I'm going into the NASDAQ futures. Once again, links in the description if you're interested in funding or the Momentum Master Suite, and I'll catch you in the Discord for that, for live setups and analysis. So thank you for coming on into the live, sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the precision, the accuracy, and all that